Hello and welcome. So that was a bit cheesy, but I am so excited to be doing this video. I've been wanting to do it for so long, just to be able to share some of my skills, some of my knowledge, how I felt back when I first started in aesthetics 2.5 years ago. So I basically just want to cover some of the things that I would have loved to have known when I started out in aesthetics, in the hope that it helps you build a successful career and one that you've always dreamed of. So a bit about me for anybody that doesn't know. I'm Sherelle. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 5 years now, and I kind of knew probably a year into nursing on the wards that nursing on the wards was not going to be something that I was going to do for the rest of my life. But at that point, I kind of didn't know what I was going to do or what I wanted to do. And then I went on to have my third daughter. I was on maternity leave, and I kind of decided now is the time to make a decision of what I want to do and kind of go for it now. So what I did is I booked onto an aesthetics course. I looked and researched a bit of what it was about, because I literally knew nothing about it. I had not had any treatments. My mum had treatments in the past, but I had not had any treatments whatsoever. I'd never even stepped foot in a clinic, so I knew nothing about it in effect. So I kind of decided this was it. Like I said, I did my research and I thought, do you know what? I think this is actually a little bit of me. So that's kind of how it all started. So I felt like I was at a bit of an advantage when starting up my business, because I was on maternity leave. So I wasn't working the wards like a lot of people still are when they first start up in aesthetics. So I was able to put all my focus into my business and kind of create that snowball effect into creating a successful business. 2.5 years later, at the time this video is recorded, I'm earning 4 times what I was earning in the NHS. I've since left the NHS altogether, and I do the odd agency shift every now and again, but aesthetics is pretty much my full-time career. I've got my own clinic. I've also got a salon that I also do aesthetics from as well. So things have spiraled just in that short space of 2.5 years, because do bear in mind that when you start a business, your goal should be aiming to get to where you want to be. You should be aiming for at least 5 years. So I know that there's still a massive scope for my business to expand at this point in time. So like I say, I wanted to share some tips with people that I wish that I'd known when I first started in aesthetics. So first things first is when you pick that person that you're going to go on a training course with, or that company that you're going to go on a training course with, make sure that they are going to teach you about the anatomy of the face, which is your main one, and then go away and make sure that you're on point and you know exactly where every vessel is and you can name them all. You need to be on point with that, because once you get that down to a T, you will feel a lot more confident in doing your injection techniques, a lot more confident in yourself, and you'll be able to portray that across to your clients as well. So that is a massive thing that you need to make sure you're doing before you even embark onto that aesthetics training course, is knowing your anatomy. Because whilst, yes, we are registered medical professionals, absolutely, we do learn in depth about the anatomy and things like that, we don't learn in-depth anatomy and what complications can occur when doing aesthetics treatments. So that whilst you will probably be taught that on any good course, the actual basis of it is that you need to make sure that you're knowing that from the off, so that you're confident and you can bring that over to your clients. Because if you're confident in your technique and what you're doing, you're going to show that to your clients, like I say. The next things that would be a good call is to make sure that you are on point with your Facebook and your Instagram. I personally find that my Instagram does a lot better in terms of aesthetics than what my Facebook does, in terms of following, in terms of interaction and things like that. But if you start, for example, with your Facebook, you can create a page, your business page. Make sure it's not one that's just your name. Think about what your logo, your brand, what you want to put across. Make it good that first time, because I and this is learning from experience as well, because when I first started aesthetics, I've actually had 3 different brand names. So I'm telling you this from experience. Make sure from the off that you've got a good brand name and that you're not copying off other people. So you might think, so why have you chose Aesthetics with Sherelle? And I'll tell you why. It's because Sherelle's not a very common name, for one, so the likelihood that somebody's going to copy my brand is pretty much 0. And for 2, in terms of thinking of like brand names and things that aren't already out there, in that sort of sense, I'm not creative. So that's one of my weaker points, and I recognise that. So I've not gone down that route. And so I just went authentic, Aesthetics with Sherelle. Simple. So sometimes it's kind of keeping it simple and not getting too complicated about things. That kind of, it works. It just works. So yeah, that's my... Try and keep it simple, but if you can think of a really good name, absolutely go for it and make that your brand, from the name, from the text, from the colour scheme. Make sure it's rolled into your social media, because remember, you haven't got, usually when people start out in aesthetics, it's very rare that they're going opening a clinic and they've got a shop front and you can advertise your business from your shop front, because that's what shop fronts are. So your Instagram or your Facebook is going to be your shop front. It's going to be the first impression to everybody. So make sure that they are on point colour schemes, in terms of fonts, in terms of text and things like that. So the thing that you can do with Facebook in terms of getting things rolling and getting things, getting word out there that you're doing aesthetics, is obviously, if you can, put it on your main Facebook page that you're starting in this new venture. Also, on your page, you might have heard of this, you can go to community and you can invite all your friends to your page. If you also put a post out there asking your family and friends, soon it's going to accumulate lots of followers and lots of likes onto your page, and it's kind of getting word out there. The more comments that you get on your post and the more likes and things, there's an algorithm on Facebook that will change and get you more followers. So that's a little tip about Facebook. The Instagram, so like I say, that's my more successful platform. A lot of my clientele does come from Instagram after word of mouth, which we all know is the main way that you're going to get word out there and you're going to get clients through. So Instagram, so again, it's like your shop window. Make sure from the top, keep it simple, use emojis, but tell people exactly where you're based, your telephone number, how they can contact you. If you're a medical professional, put it in there as well, so that people already instantly, just by looking at that first part of your social media, know what they're kind of getting and know whether they're trustworthy, that they're already putting their trust in you. So making sure that's crisp and clear, and being consistent on your social media. And this is across both platforms, being consistent. And you can link your Instagram, so anything you post on Instagram can be posted automatically to Facebook as well. You can link that up. But you usually find that Facebook requires a little bit of a different approach in terms of building up followers and likes and interaction and things like that. But you can, with your Instagram, like I say, if you make sure that your colour scheme's good and on point. I do switch mine up every now and again, keep it fresh, keep it out there sort of thing. And that's not a bad thing, but just making sure that it's neat, it's tidy, because that is your shop window. And creating conversation, letting people know that you're out there is what is going to get you clients, in effect. Another thing that I would highly recommend to help with the social media front is having a website. Now, you can create like free websites, or you can create websites that they're only a small amount that you pay each month towards the website, but it's always handy to have a website, even if you've just got the basics of like a price list on there, a bit about you. It's always good to be able to refer someone. I just think it's professional. It makes people, again, build that trust in you, because ultimately we are putting needles in people's faces, so people want to be able to trust us from the off. So I just personally think that's a professional thing to do. The next thing that I wanted to cover, so that's in terms of like your social media and bits and bobs like that. The next thing that I wanted to go over was your place of work. So I'm transparent. I'm always out there, and I tell people exactly how it is, and I tell people kind of where I started in my journey, and I'm always dead open about it. Some people will agree with it, some people don't. It's one of those things. But I started out doing mobile appointments and working from home. Some people don't agree with mobile appointments, but when you're first starting out, you kind of have to do what you've got to do to be able to get word out there. There's pros and cons to having mobile appointments. It does increase your client base to begin with, because you're able to go to them, and that's one of the pros about it. One of the cons is that your travel time, you're eating into time between you can get between each client. There's the petrol, there's lugging, all that stuff about. That's the one thing that I actually found a nightmare. But if that's what you need to do in the beginning, that's what you need to do, and you absolutely need to go for it. But what I would say, so that was, I wouldn't say it was a mistake, because it did bring me clients, and it did start that ball rolling in terms of me getting word out there. I would say, if you can, try and make an agreement with like a local salon and hire a room. Initially, when you're starting out, I wouldn't say go in and say, I'll give you a day rate, blah, 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 blah. I would go in and offer them a percentage, rather than a day rate, because then if you haven't got any clients booked in those first few times, and remember, it's not going to be all of a sudden you're fully booked just like that, unless you get a salon that you know's hot on social media, that you know's got a good client base already, and you know that they are going to promote you. So it's kind of an incentive. If you go percentage based, it's kind of putting an incentive out to them salon owners that if they get the more clients in, it's going to be more money for them. That's another good way. And you don't just have to stick to one either. You can travel around to different salons and kind of branch out that way. I did also go down that route, and it worked excellently well for me. And not only that, it's a different environment each time, so you get to meet new people. It mixes things up and keeps things that little bit fresher. So that's really good. The ultimate thing that is gonna, and this is kind of a bit like your magic wand, and what is going to keep your clients coming back, and what is going to build your client base up at a good rate, or a rapid progress, is your customer service. So as a medical professional, as a business person, you want to be professional at all times and be able to portray that across to your clients. So it's all well having a laugh and a joke with your clients, but ultimately, like I said previously, you are putting a needle in somebody's face. So from the off, you need to be professional. You need to make sure that you're covering every single basis with your client and able to meet expectations in regards to that. Because if from the off they trust you, I can guarantee that they will keep coming back to you for their treatments, and they will refer your friends. It's so much easier to be able to retain one client than to be able to go out and get a new client. So keeping the clients that you've got, keeping the trust between you, building up a good relationship, that is the key to a successful business. And if you incorporate all that together, it's not going to be a quick process. Business building is not a quick process, unless somebody knows a secret that I don't know. But if you do all them consistently, and some days it can be tedious, you can think, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, and you might be putting posts on that you feel that it's not getting no likes, it's not getting no comments. Do not be discouraged by this. Do not be discouraged, because people are still watching. They are still learning. They're getting to know you. So it's not okay, I've put this post on, people should trust me. They're getting to know you. They're getting to know the way you talk. They're getting to know the way that you work, the support that you'd be able to offer them, like during the treatment, after. Everybody's getting to know these little things about you with every single post that you're putting on. So post every single day, a minimum of once a day. If you can post more, post more. I'm going to give you a little tip on best times to post. And you might know these, but if you don't, it might help you a little bit. So first thing in the morning when people wake up, what do? They reach for their phone, like the morning paper, and start scrolling through social media. So first thing in the morning, be the first person that's in their face when they pick their phone up in the morning. Afternoon, lunch break, pick your phone up while you're eating your lunch. That's another good time to post. And in the evening, when everybody's settled down, scrolling, watching a favourite TV programme, scrolling through social media, they are your best times to post, and that is when you'll get the most engagement, when you'll get the most inquiries, and you'll get the most likes, comments, things like that on your posts. So they are the best times to post. In fact, I'm not actually 100% sure how to do it on Facebook, but I know that on Instagram, you've got a section at the top of your business profile that you can click on, and you can see what percentage of your audience is male, female, how many likes you've had this week. You can see what the best time and for engagement and interaction on your social media is. So you can check those out as well. That is my little gift to you as an upcoming aesthetics practitioner. Now, if you did want to learn any more about those little tips and tricks that I've just told you, then I am releasing a workbook for the hungry practitioners. It's actually called the Hungry Practitioner. I actually feel quite proud because I don't know, it just popped into my head. I was like, yes, that will work. And it's going to have some little worksheets in it that you can do about goals and building your goals, and there will be more information and more in-depth information about building social media up, about anatomy as well, so even learning your anatomy from the book, so you've got a bit more of an insight into that, about your customer service. So I'm going a lot more in-depth in this workbook. So if you did want to purchase that, if you quote the Hungry Practitioner discount, that is the code, the Hungry Practitioner discount, after watching this video, you'll be able to get this at a highly discounted rate, and you'll be able to purchase this from my website, which is www.aestheticswithsherelle.com. As always, everybody who knows me knows that I'm so approachable. So if you have any questions whatsoever, or you did want to find out a little bit more, then make sure you give me a shout. You can inbox me on Instagram, you can inbox me on Facebook, or you can contact me via my number, which is on both of those as well. But thank you so much for watching this. If you've watched it till the end, that is an indication that you feel that you just want that little bit more of a push, that little bit more of something to be able to put into your business to make it a success. And I'm just happy that you've took your time out of your day to watch that. So I really do appreciate it, and thank you. Take care, have a good day, and I shall speak to you soon.